I hate that. I am sorry. WWE veteran frustrated over The Rock's recent actions. Says it makes no sense. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. A recent segment involving The Rock has come under fire from a WWE veteran. According to the former head writer of the company, Vince Russo, the Brahma Bull's actions barely make any sense. The segment being talked about is The Rock's promo on Raw's Netflix premiere. Apart from putting over the Stanford-based promotion, he was also seen acknowledging Cody Rhodes' work as the face of the company. Furthermore, he also made a joke about his storyline with Rhodes from last year, referencing Mama Rhodes. I am watching Rock, and the last thing I am remembering is he beat Cody Rhodes up with his own tour bus. That's the last real memory we have of him. Mama Rhodes, the belt on him, the blood on the belt, and here he is like putting Rock on. So again, are we just, you said it, Chris, are we just supposed to forget? I hate that. I am sorry. That removes me so far from it. Another WWE veteran thinks The Rock's story with Cody Rhodes hasn't ended. While it may seem that The Rock and Cody Rhodes are on good terms in the present, WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long has his doubts. Speaking on Sportskeeda Wrestling's The Wrestling Time Machine hosted by Mac Davis, Teddy stated that he believed that the feud between the Brahma Bull and Cody Rhodes was far from over. He's real clever, and you got to pay attention to him, and you got to pay attention to what he says, because sometimes things that he says, they also have a clue, but you got to pay attention to that. But like I said, I don't think this thing with him and Cody is gonna end right now. In my opinion, I think this is a setup, Long said. WWE veteran expresses frustration over The Rock's recent actions, deems them confusing and nonsensical. In the world of professional wrestling, few names resonate as profoundly as that of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Over the years, he has transitioned from a charismatic WWE superstar to one of the highest-paid and most successful actors in Hollywood. Yet, despite his widespread success and near-universal appeal, a certain level of frustration has recently surfaced among some of his peers within the wrestling world. This frustration stems from what many perceive as The Rock's recent actions, both within the WWE and in his dealings with the wrestling business in general. One such veteran, who has witnessed the rise and fall of many stars over the decades, voiced his discontent and confusion over The Rock's actions. Speaking exclusively to us, the veteran didn't mince words when describing his thoughts on the former WWE champion's latest behavior. I hate that. I am sorry, the veteran said, expressing both disappointment and frustration. What had started as a budding admiration for The Rock's career had, in recent months, turned into bewilderment, as the WWE veteran cited a number of recent decisions that they felt didn't align with the values and expectations that had long been held within the wrestling industry. The Rock, who is often regarded as one of the greatest entertainers in wrestling history, has maintained a somewhat intermittent relationship with WWE in recent years. While he has made occasional appearances and even headlined major events such as WrestleMania, his involvement in the product has been limited. Many fans and insiders alike have speculated that The Rock's busy Hollywood career, combined with his increasing focus on other ventures, has played a significant role in his reduced presence in the wrestling ring. This, however, does not sit well with some of his longtime colleagues in the business. I get that he's a big star now, the WWE veteran continued, but there's something that just doesn't sit right with the way he's been handling things lately. He's come and gone, made his big appearances, but I've seen the way some of the younger talent is being treated because of it, and I just don't understand it. The frustration expressed by the veteran stems not only from The Rock's sporadic involvement in the wrestling business, but also from what they believe is a lack of respect toward the foundational values of professional wrestling. Throughout his career, The Rock was known not only for his unmatched charisma and mixed skills, but also for his work ethic and dedication to the business. To many, he He was a prime example of what it meant to rise through the ranks of WWE, starting from the bottom and working his way to the top. As a result, The Rock was revered by both his colleagues, and the WWE veteran feels that recently, The Rock's approach has been inconsistent and confusing. I get that he's got other priorities, but when you're still considered a top name in the industry, you have to realize that you set an example, they said. You can't just pop in when it suits you and leave everyone else to pick up the slack. It makes no sense. The veteran also referenced what they saw as an increasing gap between The Rock's public persona and his actions within the wrestling business. For example, while The Rock has often spoken in interviews about his love for WWE and his desire to give back to the business, his actions in recent years suggest otherwise. I understand that he's busy with movies and all that, the veteran explained, but when you see him come in for a big payday and then vanish again, it just doesn't feel like the same passion we once saw in him. This disconnect has led some in the wrestling community to question whether The Rock truly understands the impact his absence is having on the future of WWE. While his star power continues to draw attention, it has become increasingly evident that the newer generation of wrestlers is left to shoulder the responsibility of maintaining the company's legacy. When you've got guys like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and others giving it their all day in and day out, it feels like there's a certain lack of respect when someone like The Rock comes in, takes the spotlight, and leaves, the veteran stated. It's frustrating to see, especially when you know there's so much talent waiting for their moment. The veteran also expressed concerns that The Rock's sporadic appearances could ultimately hurt the business in the long term. By popping in and out of WWE without a consistent presence, The Rock risks diminishing the importance of long-term storytelling and building storylines around the newer talent. WWE thrives on consistency. It thrives on the long-term build. And when you've got someone who can just waltz in for a quick paycheck and leave, it undercuts everything everyone else is working for. Despite the criticism, it's worth noting that The Rock's influence on WWE is undeniable. His impact on the wrestling industry helped shape WWE into the global entertainment juggernaut it is today. His rise to fame in the Attitude Era, combined with his larger-than-life persona, made him one of the most recognizable faces in the world. And even with his Hollywood career taking precedence, his legacy in WWE remains secure. Yet, some veterans within the industry argue that The Rock's actions may have a lasting effect on how WWE operates in the future. The way WWE is run now, with part-time stars coming in and out, it's changing the landscape, the veteran continued. It's not about the wrestling anymore, it's about the spectacle. And while The Rock is one of the biggest spectacles we've ever had, it's hard to ignore the impact that kind of approach has on the business itself. Others within WWE have suggested that The Rock's actions could set a dangerous precedent for future generations of wrestlers. If more high-profile superstars begin following in his footsteps, choosing to only return for select appearances, it could ultimately harm the company's ability to cultivate fresh talent and create meaningful storylines that resonate with fans. We've got a new generation of stars, and they deserve their time, the veteran argued. They shouldn't be overshadowed by someone who's just dropping in every now and then for the big money. The Rock, for his part, has remained largely quiet on the subject. He has made occasional comments about his love for WWE and the fans, but he has yet to address the concerns of his colleagues in any meaningful way. Whether this will change in the future remains to be seen, but for now, the WWE veteran's words are a reflection of the growing unease felt by many within the industry. As The Rock continues to focus on his Hollywood career, and with no clear signs of his return to WWE on the horizon, the question remains, what will his legacy in the wrestling business ultimately look like? Will he be remembered as one of the greatest to ever do it? Or will his recent actions tarnish the very reputation he worked so hard to build? While it's impossible to predict the future, one thing is clear. The Rock's relationship with WWE and the wrestling community is a complex and evolving one. And as the years go on, only time will tell what lasting impact his decisions will have on the industry he helped shape. In the meantime, WWE fans will continue to watch and wonder whether the absence of one of the greatest superstars of all time is part of a bigger plan, or simply the natural result of a man who has moved on to bigger things.